Hello there, this is Shepherd of Peace. I was going to mow the grass today. I have an electric mower that is rechargeable electric mower, and I forgot to plug it in and charge it up, so I can't mow the grass. Darn. So I decided I needed to make this video. As I had posted earlier, I was going to make a video called Forgiveness, and that's the name of this video, called Forgiveness. Most people in this world believe that if you hate bad people, you're a good person. And if you like bad people, you're a bad person. And this is what they got inside their mind. This is how they got figured out. And so the more people that you hate, the better you are. And the fewer people you like, well, it's just because there's so many bad people in this world. And this is the way they juggernauted in their mind. But the truth is, we really don't know who the bad people are. We think we know. We judge people by the way they look, by the way they act, by the way they talk. But as you get older, you discover that people you once thought were really bad are the ones that's going to save your life. And those you thought were really right, they're the ones that will dump you in the ditch whenever everything goes wrong. So we really don't know. We think we know, but as we get older, we realize that we don't know. Only God sees the heart. Only God sees the heart. Only God knows. I missed something. I need to add this. Sin, the definition of sin is an accident. That's the true definition of sin. Evil, however, is when people intentionally do something wrong. So an evil person will intentionally hurt somebody. Most of us, however, are not evil. Some of us are. Most of us are just sinners. We accidentally do things wrong. The truth is, we're all sinners, every single one of us. And the true definition of sin means accident. And we all have accidents, every single one of us. As I explained in my post online. We will lose our temper, or something might hurt us and we might blame somebody else for it, somebody who's completely innocent and had nothing to do with it. Lots of things happen. We make mistakes. We make mistakes. We hurt somebody else's feelings. We say things that get us in trouble for various different reasons. And these are mistakes. And we all do these things, every single one of us. We all have cracks. Every single one of us has a crack. Maybe more than one. Maybe several cracks. Probably most of us have several cracks. And the older we get, the more cracks we get, unfortunately. In society, what we seem to be doing is we seem to be focusing on a person's crack. And we see that crack, and we say, whoo, that person is bad, because they got a crack. Not realizing that we got one too, you know. And this is what we do. Except for those that we are close to, like maybe our mother or father or sister or brother, our wife or husband, a good neighbor, or maybe a neighbor, people at work. The people far away from us, like especially on the internet makes this easier for us to be so critical of others. We might notice these cracks, and we judge these cracks in other people, but we don't see the cracks in our own selves. So this is what Jesus says, and I'm going to quote it to you. And I wished I knew how to flip my screen so that you can see my screen, so you won't see me reading. It'd be easier, but I ain't figured out how to do that yet. So I'm just going to have to read it to you. Just a moment. This is Luke chapter 18, starting at paragraph 9. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous, and despised others. 2 men went up into the temple to pray, the one a Pharisee, and the other a publican. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself, God, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as the publican. I fast twice in the week, I give tithes of all that I possess, and the publican, standing afar off, would not lift up so much as his eyes unto heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified, rather than the other. For every one that exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. Now that was from the King James Version. I have other versions, but that just happened to be the one that was handy. I don't exactly completely trust the King James Version, but it's good enough. But you get the idea. Self-righteous people, and if you read the Gospels, you'll see that Jesus despised the self-righteous people. I mean, he really couldn't stand them. And self-righteous people are probably the biggest of the sinners. I mean, we're all sinners, but the self-righteous are probably the biggest of all sinners. And the reason being is because they don't realize their own sin. And not realizing their own sin, they hurt other people by putting themselves above them and making other people feel lower than them. And this is how they do that. And they hurt lots of people. Everybody they're around they hurt. But they don't even realize it. They haven't a clue. This is sin, of course, because they don't do it intentionally. They just do it because they don't know any better. They don't understand. But the point is as I explained in my post that I made online, people will judge other people, but they won't judge themselves. Right about it, we stop noticing our own faults, but we don't have any problems noticing other people's faults because it's right there in front of us. We can hear it, see it, etc. But we can't always hear and see our own because it's hard to twist them eyes around and take a look at ourselves. But that's something that we need to do on a regular basis. There's another thing I needed to add that I missed, religion. Now, I know everybody who watches this aren't religious. Some of you who know me are atheists, and I respect you. I don't mean to, but I find it very difficult to understand how an atheist could survive in this world. It's got to be really, really difficult. Those of us who are religious, we have an advantage. Jesus forgives. He is our intermediator between us and God. We can go to Jesus about anything. Jesus will forgive anything. And I believe that he will even forgive an evil person. And he can even make an evil person a righteous person. He can do anything. But of course you have to want it. And you have to realize. You have to realize that you've done something wrong, or that you are wrong. And you have to ask to be freely given grace, as it's called, forgiveness. Now, since I had my operation, I take walks every morning now. And one morning I was taking my walk a couple months ago, and it just came to me that 2016, the world is going to change. People are going to start caring about one another. And then I read online something that somebody had written, and I wished I had saved it so that I could, share it with you, but it just went right by, so I don't know where it's at now. But the curse of 9/11 will end on September 2016. That's when it will end. And then I remembered that 9/11 was a satanic ritual. It really was. I don't understand the mechanics behind it because I'm not into that much satanic stuff. It's a subject I've pretty much ignored. I've just glanced over to here and there. But it was a... So anyways, whatever that ritual entailed will end September 2016. And like I said, if you watch programs before 9/11, you watch them after 9/11, what you're going to see after September 2016 is we're going to go back to that period of time that was that existed beforehand, and it will understanding. It used to be a virtue. To be an understanding person used to be considered a great thing. But nowadays, understanding is considered a weakness. If you're an understanding person, you're just ignorant. You're weak. etc., etc. It's not really looked up to. What's really looked up to is if you're mean, tough, and revengeful, and if you battle against evil. That's a good thing. But what we don't understand, that we ourselves are not so good all the time, and we forget that. What we'll see is that people will work to understand others. They will recognize differences and tolerate those differences and not consider them always bad. And stop judging so much. And recognize their own misconceptions about things. We will reach out to one another in friendship. This is going to start happening, just like it was before. I don't know how much you remember before Desert Storm, the world was like in Desert Storm. But it was a very different world before Desert Storm. I mean, and that was before 9/11. But Desert Storm, after Desert Storm, it began to change. And unfortunately, so many are young and they don't remember that time, and they haven't a clue, and they grew up in a period of hate and judgment and stuff like that. And that's unfortunate. But they will see this world. They will. If you forgive everyone who hurts you, you are the better person. You are the better person. My next video is going to be called Buddha Jesus. But I still have a little bit of research to do before I get that out to you. But love and peace. Blessed be. Bye.